Yes.
And Reverend Sharpton and Reverend Jackson at one time when they ran for presidency.
Right.
It wasn't so much about them winning necessarily, but the issues being raised and making sure they were on table. So,
and you know, in our community, they saw the drug dealer, they saw the basketball player,
right?
They saw the rapper or the hip hop artist,
right?
But very few people saw the young black business owner.
Right.
The business owners were old, they were seniors, but they were not in their 20s and 30s.
Right.
So here it is, I'm setting a different tone as to what you can be,
right,
if you desire to be it. And you can compete for political office as well, be just as intelligent,
right,
and just as knowledgeable as long as you do your homework and your research.
Man,
yes,
brother, and you highlight something I think is so important. So let's stop a little bit and make sure that people don't miss this point.
Right.
You went into business.
Yes.
And the business helped fund your political campaign.
Absolutely.
Politics and economics is so important. Honorable Louis Farrakhan said a long time ago, politics without economics is simple, without substance.
That's right.
If you don't have the money to go ahead and back and push what you want to do, then you are subject to seek money from people who have it, and then
they can control you.
You're controlled by the purse strings.
But you know, the main thing that I saw of that whole situation is that, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Right, that's right.
I was willing to sacrifice my job, being a Cook County employee for about 15 years at that time. I'm working for the government. I was willing to sacrifice my financial stable comfortability that I had at that particular time. But I was also willing to sacrifice my life for what I believed in. I know that there are powers out there that do not want to see our community uplifted from the condition that it is currently in.
Right.
Someone has to be a sacrifice. So if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, I would just say not even get involved in something of that magnitude.
Right, right. That's powerful. And you know, I know some of our audience knows about that. We have people in the audience who are willing to make that sacrifice. So we appreciate you for what you're doing. Tell us a little bit more about what the Poets, what's some of the upcoming stuff in terms of the programs and mission that you all are on.
Okay. Well, again, the Poet Organization was established in 1990. We are comprised of artists and activists. And over the past, I would say about 4 years, we have done several things such as feed the hungry, clothe the poor. We have gone into several institutions, not only here in Chicago, but around the world, because again, we have chapters throughout the United States. And look for us, September the 28th, we will be doing a fundraiser in honor and memory of my son, Tyrone Hawthorne, who passed from cancer at the age of 15. And I vowed at that time to God and myself that I would not let his honor and his memory die. And so he died on his first day of his sophomore year at Urban Prep High School. And every year we give a $1,000 donation to a graduating senior at Urban Prep High School, which I must say have had a 100% graduation rate since its inception. And for the past 3 years, not only have they had a 100% graduation rate, but 100% of their students were accepted to four-year colleges as well.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, my son just graduated from Urban Prep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So definitely a wonderful institution. And, man, so I know as you talk a little bit about how you keep your son's memory alive and, you know, really how you dealt with that, because I know there are people who are listening who may not be dealing with a similar tragedy like you are.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, my son was first diagnosed right after the 2007 political election that I ran in. And so not only did I come off of a political campaign, which was very strenuous mentally and emotionally, right after that I had to deal with my son being diagnosed with cancer. But before that, I fought for custody of him. His mom at the time had bouts of drug addiction, and as much as I fought to get custody of my son, it was a call out of the blue one day with social services calling me saying, you need to come and get your son. If you don't, we're placing him in DCFS custody. I was happy because I felt like he had a different environment with me as opposed to what he saw with his mom. Shortly after that, he began to come home with complaints of a leg pain. I took him to Holy Cross Hospital. At that time, they took an x-ray. They called us back the next day and they said, according to the x-ray, it appears as if your son has cancer in the bone.
Wow.
And when she made that statement, she proceeded to talk, and I saw her lips move, but I didn't hear anything coming from her mouth. It was a total disbelief. I just couldn't comprehend it. I couldn't understand how this was happening to me and that this was happening to us. And she said, take your son to University of Chicago, go get a biopsy, and we're going to see if what I find is substantiated by University of Chicago. It was. We began chemotherapy. We began chemotherapy for a moment. It worked for a little bit. The cancer was in remission briefly, and then it ended up coming back. And when it came back in the upper torso, which means that it begins to invade the lungs. So it became a form of lung cancer. And the doctors told me, they said, he's not going to last long. They said he will begin to not be able to sleep laying down. He would have to sleep standing up. And he would begin to have oxygen. And although I believe in a great and mighty God and prayed, even prayed that, hey, look, take me instead of him, which all fathers would want to do. But here was a situation where, as a father who's a protector and a provider, looking at your child, couldn't do anything about the situation. And so September the 3rd, 2008, he took his last breath. But I'm just so glad that I was there from inhale to exhale.
Yes, sir.